welcome back to a new video. Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we are here with Lance Revera for an interview. How are you, mate?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Brilliant.
So, when did you start watching wrestling?
When did I start watching wrestling? I started watching wrestling with my brother. So I was born in '99, so it must have been it's a weird that because I can't remember exactly when I started watching, but I remember the classic SmackDown stage. You remember the first one, the oval one?
I can't really remember because I was born in 2003, so I don't really know watching wrestling. So
I remember the oval stage vividly, like watching The Rock on SmackDown and going to my brother,
wow.
how's The Rock doing and all this when I was really little, and I had have the VHS of The Rock Know Your Role,
Cool.
The classic WWF one, where he basically goes and gets his hair cut and everything, and you just follow him around for a day, and it just shows some of his best matches from Raw.
Oh, cool. So, who was your favorite wrestler back then?
Oh, it was definitely The Rock. It always has been. It still is, to be fair.
Wow.
Well, always be The Rock.
Yeah. So, what got you wanting to become a wrestler?
What made me want to become a wrestler? Do you know what? Growing up, I'd always wrestle with like my teddies and everything when I'd go to my grandparents' house.
Okay.
I grew up pretending that was The Rock, and then as I got a bit older, I pretended that was John Cena. And I'd always be wrestling with them, and so from an early age, my sister used to be like, "What do you want to be when you grow up, James?" Lance, even, and I'd always go to, "I want to be The Rock."
Yeah.
So so from a very early age, I wanted to become a wrestler, and then a school opened in my area when I turned 16.
Okay.
So I ended up going there and training.
So how long did it take you to become a wrestler?
So I started training when I was 16.
Okay.
And I was on shows by 3 months in.
Wow.
I started by doing a rumble. It's usually where a lot of guys start off is in rumbles, and so after 3 months I was thrown into the deep end. Me and some of the other lads who I started with, we all got thrown in right into the deep end, and it began from there.
Wow.
So at just 16, I was already on shows and trying my best. It's 5 years on, and here we are.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what companies have you wrestled for?
So I've wrestled for Britannia Wrestling Promotion, so BWP, up in Wales, in North Wales.
Wow.
Wrestle Island in Birkenhead.
Okay.
I've wrestled for Pro Wrestling All Star over in Belgium.
Wow.
I've also wrestled for Wrestling 4 in Birmingham.
Wow.
As well, who were a charity-based company who often raise. So it's Wrestling 4, and then it's a charity for the show, and they'll always be raising money for the charitable organisation for that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also wrestling for Pro Wrestling for You, often as well.
Wow.
And Stacey Rose, often go that way, and that's up in Stoke-on-Trent.
Okay.
So, but mainly I wrestle out of the northwest of England. Yeah.
So, have you ever thought about wrestling for 4FW in Swindon?
I have not, but if they'd like to have me down, I'd be more than happy to travel.
The only reason I say that is that's my local company, so I go there a lot. So.
Oh right, so if you mention my name to them, and they want me down, I'll be more than happy to come.
Yeah, I can give give them a message, see what they say.
Definitely, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I'll travel anywhere anyone wants me. clearly I'll travel anywhere because I've been over to Belgium. To Swindon's just a
Yeah,
walk
it's
in the park
amazing.
to get.
So, who are your dream opponents?
Who are my dream opponents?
Yeah.
Well, obviously I'd have to say The Rock straight out because
Yeah.
you go for the biggest dog in the yard, don't you? You've got to
Yeah,
look for
yeah.
the biggest guy first. But around my way, I often want to wrestle Harry McKenny,
Okay.
who is currently the Prospect Trophy holder at Wrestle Island. I
Oh,
haven't had the chance to wrestle him yet. We started training together. He's just turned 18, so he started training a little bit after me. But
yeah.
I've never had the chance to wrestle him one-on-one, so that's one that I've always wanted to have.
Okay.
I've always wanted to wrestle my tag team partner Jack Sinclair on a show.
Wow.
We've always wanted to go at it a bit.
Yeah.
From then, like if you go up bigger as well to like main companies like AEW, I'd obviously have to pick Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
He'd
Brilliant
be a
wrestler.
big one that I want to wrestle.
Yeah. So, who is your
Yeah.
favorite opponent to wrestle?
Who is my favorite opponent to wrestle?
Yeah.
I've had quite a few over the years. I've had Brian Aidenson.
Okay.
He's a great guy to wrestle. We had a long feud over one company's title.
Oh.
We went back and forth over that. We had quite a few matches, and we got quite a lot of praise for our matches. The
Okay.
same with Rabid Riley as well, who wrestles around the northwest area as well. Me and him have had some matches since, dating back to when I first started training.
Yeah.
So from 16, and we've often wrestled each other for so many times over titles and not for titles. I've every time I've won my first title is usually against him. My first
Okay.
tag team title, I won off him, and
Oh, wow.
for the one company we had a title called the Next Level title,
Okay.
Next Level Championship, and my first one I won off him as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
So those two are my first go-to ones. At Pro Wrestling for You, I wrestled Dave Del Vecchio recently. I say recently; it was earlier in the year. We haven't wrestled
Yeah.
for God knows how long it has been now with lockdown and everything. But me and him had a really really good match when we faced at Pro Wrestling for You.
So, what challenges do you face being a wrestler?
What challenges do I face? Um, that's a difficult one because what do you mean by challenges like specifically?
Like, getting booked, things like that, and at the moment
Oh,
with
okay.
COVID and things.
Yeah. Well, obviously getting your name out there is obviously always difficult. It's I always think of it as very similar to a band when they first start, and you have to
Yeah.
just kind of go wherever anyone will have you, and you have to really be pushing for it, and that's always a big issue as well. You've always got to be staying in shape as well. You've always got to be training. You've always got to be moving forward. You can never be
Yeah.
stood still for too long. You can't be resting on your laurels. You've always got to be pushing yourself more and more.
Yeah.
You can never just sit back and relax. You've always got to be on your toes.
Yeah, you always got to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. You've always got to keep going. You've always got to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I was training with I was at Fighting Spirit the other night with Zach Gibson and James Drake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Zach was saying you always have to be staying ahead of the curve, and once one thing becomes popular, you want to be going the other way to stand out from everybody else.
Yeah. I 100% get that. So, what changes do you think wrestling will have when it comes back because of the speaking out movement and COVID?
I think due to the speaking out movement, I think wrestling's going to become a lot safer place for everyone.
Yes.
I think people are going to feel more safe when going to shows, being on shows. They won't have fears of people doing the things that have been going on for so many years. People won't feel like they need to be quiet about issues going on for the fear of not being booked or being talked about privately and being spoken down to. I feel like everything's going to be on a much more level footing for people.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to become a much safer place, and it's an amazing work that the brave women and men have done due to the speaking out movement. It's going to make wrestling a much better place to be.
100%.
And then with COVID as well, I think once we can try and get back to some kind of normality, I think I think hopefully it'll take off again like it was doing before. I know Future Shock have already started putting shows together now. They had their first show on the 20th, and it's amazing to see that shows are coming back.
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait to get back to shows, to be honest. It's just the environment of the shows are just going to be so much better, and
yeah, I think so as well.
They've had time to get back into it and things as well, and plan more things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because people have been starved of wrestling for this longevity of time. Like, you've been able to watch it on TV and everything, but you haven't been able to be there and be a part
it's not
of
the same
shows.
on TV.
Yeah, I think people will be desperate to get back. It's a lot like football as well, with football being taken away from fans and having to be watched on TV. People are absolutely desperate to get back, and I think the atmosphere for both is just going to be great.
Yeah, there's going to be a big pop.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for 2021?
Oh God. Well, hopefully it will be getting back to wrestling constantly, because last year I was getting booked every weekend. I was traveling up and down the country, so hopefully we'll be back to doing that. With shows as well. I know I'm going to be a part of Wrestle Island's prospect tournament that they've got coming up, which is going to be filmed behind closed doors and put onto Turnbuckle TV. So that's one thing that is obviously being affected by COVID. So hopefully that'll be this year, and then we'll look. Hopefully, if I can get to the final, which obviously I will, because I'm Lance Rivera, the Playboy Prince of Professional Wrestling. How can I not be in the final? Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, I'll then be facing Harry McKenney on the first full show back for Wrestle Island. And hopefully that will be sometime next year.
Yeah.
With everything hopefully going back to normal. So hopefully we can get back to where we were.
Yeah. So what are your dream venues to wrestle at?
Oh, first one that always comes to mind when that gets asked is the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
It's the first one you think of, because that and Madison Square Garden, because it's always spoken about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They're two of the biggest.
Yeah. So obviously them. I've always wanted to wrestle anywhere in Manchester. I've never had the chance.
Have you not?
So close. No, I haven't. With it being so close to where I live as well, I've never had the chance.
Oh, well, hopefully soon you'll be able to.
Hopefully. So the O2 Ritz would be a good one to start at.
Yeah.
That'd be a big one.
That would.
Alexandra Palace would always be a great one as well.
Yeah, I've wanted to go and watch wrestling there for quite a while, so I was going to go to Super Strong Star 16 this year.
Yeah.
But it never happened, so hopefully next year. Yeah. So what are your dream countries to wrestle in?
Oh, so obviously you've got America and Japan.
Yeah.
They're your first two go-tos.
Yeah.
Because those are where wrestling is arguably the biggest. Obviously here as well, but outside of the UK, you've got to look to America and Japan.
Yeah.
I really want to travel over to Germany at some point.
Wow.
To get over to Wrestle, hopefully to train at WXW as well at some point.
You would be amazing with them.
And then obviously I always love to go back to Belgium. It feels like my home away from home at this point.
So what do you think about NXT UK returning?
I think it's absolutely great, and it's great for all the guys and girls who are able to work there now.
Yeah.
It's an amazing opportunity for everyone, and it just shows the rate of wrestling's grown in the UK and the popularity of it. And it's just amazing that it's able to come back now.
I think it's a huge thing for wrestlers like you and loads of wrestlers in the UK to look up to get into. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Work forward to.
Yeah, it's something to aim for.
Yeah.
Because arguably it would be the biggest place to work for in the UK. I say arguably. I don't think there's any argument at all to be put forward that it isn't. Because to work for WWE is obviously the end game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the biggest thing that you can work for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest company, and for it to be right on our doorstep is an opportunity like no other.
Yeah.
And to not take advantage of it being there would be it'd just be silly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's everything for today. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's absolutely fine, mate. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Do you have social medias that you can shout out so people can?
I do, yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at Lance_Revera. The same for Instagram as well as Lance_Revera. And on Facebook, Lance Revera 12. Sorry, no, Lance Revera Playboy Prince. And then you can find my amazing merchandise at lancevera12.bigcartel.com.
Make sure you go and give him a follow on everything, and if you want some of his merch, go and get it. Thank you for joining me. Oh, sorry.
You can also hear my amazing voice every week on Broken But Glorious every Tuesday. We record and it's out every Wednesday.
Wow. Thank you for joining me.
No problem, mate. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Car Wrestling, guys. See you in the next video.